Hey there YouTube, back with another review I guess. In this case it's gonna be more of a anatomy lesson. Yay, anatomy, yay school. I'm gonna take apart, dismantle, show you what's inside a G1 Nightbeat. So maybe we'll call this Anatomy G101. Ha 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 ha, so funny. Okay, anyways, so yeah, this is a vintage G1 Nightbeat. It's in very poor shape. I bought it as a gift for a family member, but since pieces on it are breaking off, I figured it's probably best not to give this as a gift to a child that and then have it break off and then get hurt by it or cut or something. So instead, it's become fodder. I like to customize stuff, so this works out really well. I can you know, do something with this. I don't know what. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I've got this Nightbeat muzzle. As you can see, the color is quite green, very almost forest green. To give you some perspective on that, in case you're thinking it's, you know, my camera, or because it could be my camera, you know, or if it's your monitor settings. So for comparison, here is a not so messed up Nightbeat. This one's blue, this one's green, and to give you even more perspective, here's the green screwdriver, which is a very like Emerald City green. That is the same color. They are, I mean, not the same color, but they're both green, clearly green. This is blue, this is green, blue, green. Yeah, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dismantle this, and I wanted to make a quick note about the plastic. And actually, as I pull this apart, the pieces are probably going to fly off. Well, yeah, the tire came with the tire already off. Like when I got it in the mail, it had already cracked during shipping, and I think it was shipped in a box. So yeah, the plastic has become really brittle. I think it has the G1 yellowed plastic syndrome, which is very similar to the gold plastic syndrome, which is where the plastic just kind of disintegrates or crumbles like Play-Doh, like slightly dried out Play-Doh, not completely dried out Play-Doh, just crumbles. That's what happens with gold plastic. This, in this case, what's happened is the fixing agent that is used to prevent to decrease the temperature or increase the temperature at which the plastic melts, you know, fire safety standards and stuff. What happens is over time it changes from like a clear color or a white color to a yellow, and so as you can see, the blue plastic has turned green. So because, you know, blue plus yellow equals green, but in this case it's severely yellowed, and it almost makes me wonder if it had smoke damage. Now the car doesn't smell, and I mean, see, the wheels are in pretty good shape, so I'm guessing this was just really stored really poorly, because I mean, with smoke smell, usually that doesn't come out, at least not while maintaining the semblance of original stickers. Then again, we have some sticker damage here. As you can see, some of the stuff is already broken off, just since I first pulled it and tried to transform it. So, you know, I don't think the black plastic is so affected, but I know the green is definitely affected, and there's definitely a change in the color of the yellow. If you want to see here, the yellows this is darker, this yellow is darker, so this yellow has yellowed, and this yellow has not yellowed. So yeah, good reason to keep your G1 Transformers out of direct sunlight. Oh geez. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to look at was if the plastic that had broken off had turned had yellowed all the way through, because that would be an indication of some other kind of damage. Now there's still some blue in here, a little bit, not much. It's mostly turned, most of it, almost all the way through, turned yellowed, and so it's not just a patina on the surface, it's actually like all the way through the plastic, it looks like. So I don't know what would cause that. There's a little bit of blue in the center, but that's just because it hasn't had exposure to whatever the chemical agent was, sunlight, or I don't know if sunlight's not really a chemical agent. Yeah, so anyways, I figured I'd dismantle this and see what's inside. There's some interesting stuff here. Now, you'd think there was only one spring in here. You'd think the one spring is the one that goes inside the neck joint. But actually, there's also a spring in here that, when it works and is actually attached, since this is broken off. Ooh, look at that. which goes conk, 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 conk. Yeah, and on a lot of these figures, it's not working, and so that's one of the things I'm hoping to figure out is what causes it to click, click, click. What needs to be there? What particular function? Because, like, example, a lot of the Nightbeats that I've seen, it's only making one click. If that, like this time, it's not making any clicks. So the click mechanism is not working on this one. So I'd like to see what it is, what's causing it. Also, I've noticed another issue, these shoulder joints. Inside the shoulder joint, sometimes you will see that they, I'm trying to see if I can get a good, there we go, get a good angle here. These will be drooping, and I want to see what's causing that. Is the joint actually broken, or can it be tightened up? I want to know what the issue there is, and so that's something else I'm hoping to find out during this during the course of this investigation. So yeah, we'll start with muzzle, which is the headmaster, the headmaster junior, who is the American version of Minerva, I guess, as far as that goes. So first you remove the screw. The screw's in the chest. Yeah, so the screw's about maybe 5 millimeters long, or yeah, millimeters, half a centimeter. Pretty small, pretty standard. Looks like it to be about the same size as the ones on the old G.I. Joes inside their backs. I'm guessing it's probably going to be uniform since you know, it's all Hasbro. But then again, you know, Takara was involved in this, so a lot of these measurements are going to probably be based on metric. So when you're removing the chest, I mean, I wouldn't do this with a figure you actually really care about, because these things have gotten fairly expensive. I think these are like, what, $15, $20, $30 now. They've gotten gradually more expensive over time. So yeah, there's the face plate. There you go, yeah. Front. It's got this weird little spiky thing on his chest. Don't know what that is. And then he's got the oh, right here. This one is broken actually. There's a typically there's a little like clip that sticks out right there. His is actually broken off. This figure is actually broken off. Grab the other one real quick. You can see on the not broken one the difference. There is like I'm just gonna call it the cod piece that sticks out there. But yeah, you can see the little clip there is broken off on this guy. This is the one from the smoke damage one, or oxidative damage, whatever kind of damage it is. And so you have to be careful. That piece comes off. It doesn't actually affect the legs. You'd think it looks like it would hold the legs, but actually what's holding the legs is the hands. So we'll see that in a minute. So when you pull these apart, be very gentle because that pin can break off. This one actually broke off while I was washing it. So it's just, you know, you got to be really careful. So yeah, you just slide it out, pull it straight out. Hopefully that clip doesn't break. It doesn't hold it that tightly. It just goes around the leg joint to make it look like legs, I guess. Okay, so that's the inside. We've got the screw hole. It goes through from here to there. A pin to make sure it doesn't rotate. This is very similar to the Titan Masters that came out recently. And then you've got the legs are actually attached. So if you're ever wondering if you could just, you know, have him without the back part, so he doesn't have to have a face on his back, there you go. You can do that. The best way to pop these off is actually toward the back of the hand. There's a rounding to the pin that comes out of the hand. There's actually a hole. The hole's in the legs, so then you can actually, when you pop it, just kind of put your fingernail under there, kind of like with the Diaclone figures. You put the fingernail under there, and you just kind of pop it forward. Because it's actually a little bit on some of these figures. Oh yeah, it's a little bit smoother on the back on this side. See, so you can pull it off. This one's actually fully round. So I don't know if this has been pulled apart before or what, but it has some. So you can see the little peg there. Yeah, so that's that. So yeah, that's the whole figure. Put it back together. Same way. We're gonna go with this side. His left side is going to be the side where we put the pin on first, and we're just going to pop it back in there. There's the hole. There we go. And reassemble. There we go. And then just put the screw back in to reassemble them the rest of the way. Woo! Tiny screwdriver. And he's a happy muzzle again. Okay, so let's get to dismantling the body. So yeah, there's a couple different ways you can approach this. Let's start with the feet and see how that goes, since we talked about the spring earlier. So the step for that is pretty much you just remove this bolt here. There's 1, 2, 3 bolts for this, or screws for this. There we go. That's 1. That's 2. Thank you, magnetic screwdriver. And then normally, if it's not broken, as on this guy right here, you'd have to unscrew this because that's actually attached. See, as it rotates, that's what causes the occasional click that I'm getting. There's it's attached right there. There's a little post that goes into the knees, the front of the foot part. And so you need to remove that. On this one I don't need to because it's broken off already. Oh yeah, those fall out. The little caps in here pop out. And then right here there's a little like a washer or a screw with a washer built in. Let's see, there we go. There's a little washer cap, and it's actually stuck around the gap, and then on this side it's not. There's no washer on this side. So, and I can see a screw right there. So I'm guessing there's a screw in there. Let's pop this out. Just kind of push that forward. The spring there's a spring. See, there's a spring. It's spring loaded, and the spring holds this leg in place. It's also what causes the clicking. So now that we have that open, we can see kind of what's going on there, and then you just take. So normally this would have already been removed, but because it would be attached. Pull this out if it comes out. It should come out. Okay, well it's stuck. Either way, normally that would be out of there. But yeah, you can unscrew this, and inside there should be. Oh, there's the clicking. There should be a spring, a tension spring holding everything together. So let's see if that ends up being true. If I'm just making stuff up when I talk. I can't get this piece out. If I can't get this piece out, we might not be able to fully investigate that part. But yeah, so there's a spring in there. Oh, there, you can see the spring right there. The spring is the spring, so it's on this side. And that's what makes it go like that, and that's actually what allows it to have kind of a tension pull. I'm going to actually put that screw back on real quick, and then get to the upper body, which has I think 5 total screws. Oh, there it goes. Ooh, that sounds nice. Anyways, 5 total screws. There's a way to take that out. I don't know. So the chest plate. I mean, if you want to remove it, you just snap it out. But you have to be careful when you actually remove this if you're planning on not destroying the figure, because the little tabs in there, they shave off pretty easily, because I think this is made out of softer plastic than this is. So what happens when you pull this off is the sides here can actually scrape off there's little holes inside there, inside this part right here, and the little pin that goes in there can scrape off very easily. And once you do that, it's kind of the end of it. It'll just keep falling off over and over again once you do that. So for taking apart the chest and getting into the torso there, you have to remove these 2 chest screws underneath the chest plate. And then on the back, there is 1, 2, and 3. So let's see those again. 1, 2, and 3. So I'll start with number 3, or number 5 technically. Now I'm keeping these kind of separate, these screws, but I think they're all the same. I'm not seeing too much variation in size or shape. Yeah, let's see here. There we go. Come on out. There we go. So yeah, these are all the same. They're all about the same size. These ones look a little bit longer than than the one that was on Nightbeat. So maybe those are different. And these might be a higher gauge. Here we go. Get all screws out of there. There's a cool little printing in there. So yeah, now we got that apart. We'll pull this apart here. You just pull with the chest piece off. Now, if you want to, oh, there goes the legs. The legs fell off. Legs were attached like that. There's actually clips on here that hold the legs in place. Right here, just kind of latches in there, so it doesn't slide around. But the pin right here is what actually holds it together. Shoulder joints just slide off. They're just pins. You know, pull those off. And then we have. So here's the parts we have so far. We have those back wheels. We have the torso that now looks like that, or engine compartment, and seats, and then the arms are right here. So just set everything here. There's the legs. Okay, so on the torso, you have to be really careful if you're disassembling this for the purposes of fixing something. Just be aware that the headmaster slot here, which is only attached by push pressure. The chest piece, actually, if you pull this out, there's a spring back in behind here. We're going to actually go in there, but normally you might not want to disassemble this because it will fly everywhere. I'm not sure why that's not coming off. I'm guessing that should come off. So let's open that. There's the spring unit, the spring mechanism, and you push it down. It goes down. It doesn't disconnect. It goes down. It goes down. Makes the stats show. So there you go. There you go. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could do a custom Nightbeat and change the stats on the plate by just replacing this plate. And that wouldn't be too hard to do. You could probably do it with like styrene or something. And then you can make your own custom. Actually, I might do that. That's really cool. That's a cool idea. Since this one's broken, maybe we can do something. Maybe we can do something with that. Anyways, so lost everything. Okay. But if you don't want the spring shooting across the thing, it's actually attached to the plate, so it shouldn't fly off. Shouldn't fly off too much. Yeah, so it's really small, smaller than those, like a pen spring. We've got this clip here. That's the clip that the headmaster goes into. Or, I suppose you could put any headmaster in there. Yeah, so that's about that. I'm gonna just put this back together since I don't want it to fly everywhere. Yeah, so the headmaster juniors, I think not all. I know Minerva definitely does, and I mean I don't know if the other ones do, but the stats are preset. It doesn't have a tumbler like on the headmaster seniors. I guess they're called seniors. But yeah, so that's that. Chest plate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screw holes. No, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screw holes. Yeah. And then now we're going to do the arms. That's all that's left before everything's, you know, blown to pieces. Now the hand is on a separate screw set, or separate plate from the ones that hold the shoulder. So just open that up real quick. Oh no! Okay, we lost a screw, but that's okay. We have this piece here. We lost that piece too. The hand, just you rotate it, comes off. Oh, it's open on the back. That is interesting. There is a, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a opening there to prevent the plastic. If like temperature changes happen, the plastic will not shatter. That is actually open on the back. I don't know if that's a standard thing. And there's also some friction grip inside. I don't know if I can get a good enough light for that, but you might be able to see it. There's a ridges inside the, there you go, inside the arm socket, and those ridges are to create multiple friction points and decrease the friction where the gaps are. So you have friction all the way across the top and on this section here, but then so all the way across here and here there is full contact. And then there's actually ridges going into it that decrease the friction in those sections. I'm guessing that's because it rotates toward that direction. When it rotates toward that direction, you don't want it to, when it rotates toward that direction, it gives like a clicking feeling. And there's a little bump here. And so it can click into those spots. But also, it makes the movement less likely. It makes it less likely to cause a friction grind down all the way up through. So you end up with these ridges that get ground down instead, which is pretty cool. Instead of having a tight hold that would grind down over time, you have multiple snap points, which is cool. Okay, so right here we have the arm piece. I'm gonna go ahead and dig into that real quick. There we go. Slide that open. You got your pegs. You got a peg to hold the shoulder piece, and then you've got these two screw holes. We'll set that over there with the other parts. Let's get the chest back into that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And then you just pull that out, and it appears that there is a screw inside the shoulder joint. So when these things get loose, sometimes these get loose. I'm guessing it's from rotating it. Someone rotated it like 1,000,000 times one direction or something. Or maybe what happened was the shoulder got pulled on too much, because there's actually an ability to build a lever. And what could happen is when it's in there, you could lever it up, and what happens is this pushes on here and it snaps the joint right there, loosens it out. So if you pull really, really hard out this way, what will happen is it'll pull that out. Now it looks like this is actually a screw, so I don't know if it would unscrew. Oh, it's not a screw. It is a post with a piece of metal wrapped around the end, around it in a ridge. I don't know if you can see that. So this is actually not spring loaded. See, there's a little piece right in there. That is like a C clip that's been put around the plate, around the thing. And I'm guessing this has been. So what happened was they slide it in the factory, in there with the C clip around the metal, around this essentially it's a nail, and with like friction ridges inside. And what happens is they push it into the hot plastic, and the plastic just holds it because it's hot already. Or they heat the metal up and they stick it in, and that holds it in place. So once you pull that out, you pretty much need a new shoulder joint at that point. If this has been someone's done too much leverage on it and it snapped. And I guess you could do leverage this way too. More likely with this way. And this would push against the body like this. Like this. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Okay, like this. And so, oh, wait, that was the right direction. Okay, it goes right here. Does it go right here? Yeah, no, it goes right here. Okay, so it goes there. When you fold it down, right? But what you could do is you could push right here. And if you put enough leverage right here, or you push really hard, it creates essentially a pivot point right here. And the pivot point here causes this part to be it acts like a moment arm and tries to snap. So you end up with the force going this way, and it just tears the thing apart. And so I've seen a lot of the Nightbeats with that. It is not a fixable condition if you find a Nightbeat with that issue, unless you pull the post out, unless you heat up the plastic, pull the post out, and then put it back in. And I don't even know if that's possible, because there might be a T-shape like this shape. If it's T-shape, you can't really pull that out without completely deforming the plastic. So yeah, interesting little thing there. So shoulder joints worth keeping if you have if you can get extra shoulder joints. Good, it's a good thing to keep them. I don't think the black plastic is affected by the yellowing, so you should be fine if you pull one from a yellowed figure. But who knows? I don't actually know. Okay. That's about it for that today. I just want to take this apart. I'll reassemble it really quick, and then that'll be that. We'll be done. Okay, so let's start with the arm that we just disassembled. We'll put that back together. There's the hand. Oop, goes that way. Put the hand upward. There's the thumb. There's the thumb. Yeah, okay, so cool. And then we go like... Okay, we got our two pieces. We got our little cover tab piece. Goes right there. Put in the screw. There we go. Do shoulder joint. Go and throw that in there real quick. Get it the right direction though. Like that. Put it in there like that. Just kind of goes into that peg. Swing it over. Doesn't really matter too much which direction you put it in, since it's kind of gonna, you can rotate it whatever direction you need it to be. I'm gonna put it that way just so it's automatically in the closable drive mode type of configuration. Put the yellow panel back on. Flip it. Put the arms onto the chest. Like that. And then what I'm doing is I'm folding them in so that they can hold, but I don't know if that's going to work when we put it back together. Put this here. Got most of the car there. Got the legs. The chest, we left the chest piece attached with the little spring thing. You can just set it on top. There's just line up the holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. And then we go ahead and screw those back in. It's holding. That's good enough. And then we take this section, what's left of it, and go ahead and pop that spring up so we can get that around the piece like that. There we go. And then we just pop these on there. Oops, wrong side. The little tab that sticks out right here on the edge goes toward the inside, or toward the midline. Go ahead and pop that in there. Drop the screw in. And close it if you want to. And then the remaining 2 screws are inside the chest plate. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Put his hands, fold his hands in. Hopefully I didn't tighten everything too much. And there you go. Got yourself a wobbly Nightbeat. He's better than he was. Okay, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.